Okay, welcome. Monday morning stock market technical analysis. We're going to go through the charts. I'm going to cover oil, gold, look at some bonds, and just give you guys a general read on the market. So guys, if you find value in the content, drop me a thumbs up. I do appreciate that. And if you're new, as I go along, if you're interested in learning this skill set, check out my course, link in the description below. Okay, we're going to start off with tech, as I always do. Triple Qs, not a whole lot of change from today, from Friday. Just kind of this slow grinding action higher. Again, we've got the 200 simple moving average just overhead, sitting at about 368.50. So we're looking for probably a tag of that. I don't see any signs that we're not going to maybe run up there and hit that real quick. So look for that. All right, that's really all that I see right now. I don't see any sell signals. I don't see any reason why we're not going to go higher. So moving on, the IWM small caps. This one, again, we've got big resistance at 209 and it continues to hold. So really, this is just a continuation from last week. You can see we're just drifting sideways, so we're just in this big chop zone below resistance, and I assume we're going to hold below this resistance. Looking at the week or the hourly chart, started to put in some negative divergence up here. Let me kind of get rid of this and point this out. So this high right here, when we ran up and hit that resistance line of that 209, that was a divergent high. Okay, see the negative divergence on the RSI and the PPO. So that tells you that we're likely going to pull back. But again, we're just kind of in this sideways chop zone. So I think it's objective to short at resistance, which is that 209. And until we see a change or a technical break above that level, then the short should continue to work. All right, so that's all I have on that one, in my opinion. Okay, the S&P 500. All right, we're above the 200 simple moving average right here at about 446. You can see we came down, tested it, and they bounced off of it. So that's a bullish look in general. However, if you look at the hourly chart, let me flip down to that. You'll see that we have starting to build some negative divergence here. So the hourly is starting to roll over. Momentum's starting to kind of wane. And we're kind of just grinding higher, popping, making slightly new highs, but it's not, the momentum is running out, basically, is what this looks like. So we're looking for a pullback, some sort of a sell signal. We don't quite have it yet, and so again, I'm just kind of sitting idle on taking any moves. I'm not shorting, not really long, just looking for opportunities to pop up. This is the trend line that SPY was making. So the momentum was strong as we were rallying here, but recently we're starting to kind of die down. But again, negative divergence doesn't tell me to short. I need to see a sell signal. So I'm looking for some sort of break of trendline support. I'm looking for the tech sector to roll over. We're looking for other signs to give us an idea of what's going on. Looking at these FANG stocks here, Amazon on the daily chart, just holding above this trend line right now, marked in red. So the red trend line, it's a very significant trend line. If you roll back on the weekly chart for Amazon, it goes all the way back to 2008. And you can see this weekly chart here. We've got all these tags of support, and this is what's going on recently. We broke support. We have a sell signal, but they've been back testing. The buy the dip crowd has really been trying to hold this. So you can see they buy the dip, it rolls over. They buy the dip. So it's a battle right now. We're just in this big battle, bigger picture. We are at the 200-day on the weekly. You can see it right there. Or the 40-week, basically. And if you look at the daily, there we are, holding right there at the 200. So that should be resistance. I don't expect that to go much higher. We need to see a sell signal, which likely at this point, from my perspective, is going to be a nice impulsive break back below this longer-term trend line. Okay, Google. So Google on the hourly, I've been watching these. You've got this hourly uptrend line right here. This is really the rally, the most recent rally of the last couple weeks. And we've just been rallying, but we've started been building negative divergence on the hourly right here on the RSI and the PPO. So we have negative divergence and we broke trend, but it's not that impulsive yet. You can see we broke trend. It really broke today here, selling down, but we're just drifting sideways. So we need to see, usually what I like to do is when we get a break of trend and we start drifting sideways, I usually just mark out the lows, and you know, I'd like to see us take those lows out to be my sell signal. So about 2,806.60 or 2 or whatever, but you start taking those out, that's probably going to be your sell signal. Facebook, it's really same thing. All the things pretty much look the same. Here's your uptrend line, negative divergence on the hourly, broke trend, but we're just drifting sideways. So again, I'd like to see the lows get taken out. Hourly close below 220 should do the trick. And then Microsoft broke trend a while back, and it's just been drifting sideways as well. This one has created somewhat of a upward support line, but a break below this 300, or you know, whenever it comes, that would be your sell signal in Microsoft. And then Apple, same deal. Uptrend line on Apple, broke trend, but we're just drifting sideways. So we're not getting that impulsive selling that you want to see. And this one, I guess it's probably right about there at about 173.40, we'll call it. A break below that, hourly close below that should be the sell signal. Okay, usually when you break trend, you want to see impulsive selling for your sell signal. We just don't have that, so we just got this sideways drift. So we could continue to kind of drift higher as momentum continues to fade. So we're just watching for those right now. Moving on. Oil futures. Again, we have this upward trend line on oil futures starting back here in December of 2021, and tag of support all through here. Brief undercut, but it proved to be a bear trap, and we're coming down today basically right to support. So that's support. You want to buy at support, you know, basically that's all I see in oil as of right now. So, you know, we're looking for opportunities to potentially short oil, but I don't see anything yet. So it's still an uptrend. And, you know, I would remain long if you're long, I'd remain long until we see that sell signal. Gold, again, gold continues to just kind of drift sideways as well. So gold bullion has just been kind of, last couple of weeks, we're just stuck in this sideways range. So, again, gold is just right in the middle of resistance and support. All right, support is down here. What looks to be good support right down here at about 1837 or so. And again, that's your big isometrical triangle. I've got it marked out. That's all your highs. All right, so that was your former resistance. That should be support now. And then the all-time high is up here at 2074-ish. That should be your resistance. All right, so support down here, resistance up here, stuck in the middle. So we just kind of hang tough on it. Nothing to do there. The miners, little breakdown in the miners today. So on the hourly chart, we have this upward trend line right here. We don't have a negative divergence really. All right, so we're not really seeing a divergence. So we got to break a trend, but no divergence. So we could come down to, we've got some support. You know, when I look at this, I see some support, definitely good support down here at about 35. So we could pull back to there, about 35. Maybe a little bit of support here at 36 as well. So those are some areas that I'm watching for. I wouldn't expect this pullback to be, you know, huge. But again, this is the same kind of thing. We've got support down, big support at 32 area. And we could obviously come back down and test that breakout point. So that's a very good buy zone if you can get it down there. And that's why I've got it circled as the potential buy zone. Maybe we pull back. KHC still looks like a long trade, and I still think we're going to run up and fill this gap all the way up here at 47.80. As you zoom in, you can see today's price action. Let me kind of show that. You know, they sold it down, but the buyers stepped in, and we're moving higher. So this should run up and fill the gap. As I look at it, that gap's been there all the way for, you know, several years. And right here, back in 21, they ran it up, made it look like it was going to fill the gap, but it stopped short and sold down with a nice solid correction. I think we're out of that corrective period and we're now actually going to go run up and fill that gap. So I like it as a long trade. We're just going to continue to ride that up. Okay, Tesla could be a short right here. I'm going to point out really what I see on the daily chart here. You've got, this is your former trendline support. So you got a tag here. There's lots of reactions that this was support. There's another one. And then we finally broke down and it held as resistance right here. And this most recent rally has rallied us all the way up to that trendline resistance. So this is resistance right here and now. Objective area to short Tesla. The other thing I want to point out, if you look at the hourly chart, you can kind of draw this trend line as part of this rally right here. Draw it out like that, and you can see that basically support, there's where the trend started, support all through here, and it broke and it went sideways, drifting sideways, and then popped up and ran right into a back test of that trend line. So kind of double resistance basically. We also have negative divergence on the RSI and the PPO. You can see right there that there's your negative divergence. So this high that we just made today into double resistance basically is a divergent high as of right now. So I like this as an objective area to short Tesla, and I'm starting to take short positions on this again. Starting to build a position today, looking for this to reject. Now, whether it rejects today or, we could chop around here for a little while, but I would expect this area to hold as pretty solid resistance, and I'm looking for downside from here. So I like that. There's a trade idea. Again, everything in this channel is just my opinion. I'm not giving financial advice. And that's really all I have. When I'm looking at some of these sectors, like XLF, you can just see we're just in this going to the daily chart, we're just in this sideways chop action right now. It just looks like a topping pattern, it's just, so it's not a whole lot we can do with that. And I'm looking across the board for anything, looking for the next trade. I think we're going to be able to short the market again here pretty soon. I just don't quite see it yet. Maybe one final move higher into, like with triple Qs, one final move higher right into this moving average, this simple moving average up around 368.50, potentially all the way up here to 377.48. That was kind of your former support area. That's the zone of resistance. So I'm looking for maybe a final move up into there, and then for this to roll over and us to start that next leg lower. So as of right now, you have to understand the bulls think we're heading to new highs. And, if you're under the kind of in the bear camp, then I'm looking as this as a bear market rally, and we're going to roll over and make new lower lows and continue the downtrend. The Fed's hiking rates, that's obvious. Bonds, you look at the bonds like TLT, clearly downtrending. Okay, we're making a series of lower highs and lower lows. So rates are rising, which should continue to put pressure on tech. So tech is in this kind of everything, everything is awesome phase right now over the last couple weeks. But to me, it just seems mostly like a short covering rally, as well as sucking in some of the dip buyers, retail traders, all that. And then we're about to roll over and make our next leg lower. So I'll keep an eye out for the sell signal of when I feel like it's pretty objective. We're not there yet, but I think we're getting close. And that's all I have, guys. Catch you on the next one.